It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, you can see on my Clear Touch interactive board today, I got a special guest, Bob Goldberg. If you're in the BTA, if you're in any of the document imaging channel industries, peer groups, if you're just in the industry itself, you know Bob Goldberg. Bob Goldberg has represented dealers and their interests from a legal perspective for over 4 decades. Bob Goldberg, how are you doing? It's so fantastic to have you on the end of the day with Ray.
Hi, Ray. How are you? Good to see you. I really enjoyed your presentation down to BTA Southeast. You certainly had the audience speaking afterwards and considering your thoughts.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob. You know, and I've had some dealers reach out to me where, you know, and I've done some videos, and you know me, I'm a little boisterous sometimes, but I've talked about this HP Amplify agreement that everybody's screaming about. And I thought to myself, you know, what better person to talk about that than Bob Goldberg, who's been representing our friends and their interests for over 4 decades. But before we get into that, Bob, tell me a little bit about that background with you, because it's a phenomenal background for our industry.
Well, it was over 40-some years ago that NAMDA invited me to speak in Chicago, actually moderate a meeting. They were talking about the Royal Copier Typewriter Company.
Wow.
And all the dealers had flown into Chicago, and they were sitting down to decide how they were going to address some of the issues that were pending with Royal. And that's how I got my introduction. And it was interesting. The gentleman before me had gotten up in age, and he was one of those lawyers, and Ray, you probably bumped into these guys. They never give you a straight answer. They say, well, if the sun is in the eastern horizon, it may be this, and the western horizon, it may be that. And they were always frustrated. Well, Jim Ayers, a wonderful man from Michigan, got up and asked me about a 10-minute question. And I just sat there, I put my head down a little bit, thought for maybe 30 seconds, lifted my head and said, yes, you can. And I got a standing ovation. They had never gotten a definitive answer like that before. And that started the relationship with NAMDA, which has grown just beautifully over the years. I've dedicated my life to the dealer channel and helping dealers equalize their relationship with manufacturers and suppliers, with their customers. And we've come a long way to be a confrontational organization back in the Royal days to now where we're partners with major suppliers and the dealers and are able to resolve many of the issues in a business context. We don't have to go to court like we used to. But I'll tell you, Ray, this Amplify issue, as well as Xerox's change in some of their compensation issues, have had my phone and email buzzing for the last month or so.
Well, you know, Bob, I keep telling people, you know, if you don't like HP or the contract, call my friends at Lexmark. But, you know, sometimes that's not realistic in some avenues here. And I know there's some big mega dealers that have been partners with HP. And, you know, I see HP as really the biggest threat to the dealers right now. They can easily go direct to end users. They've lived in that world for a long, long time. We know that the equipment's going from the big stuff, the A3 to the A4. Is HP just using our friends for a temporary access, is what I think, the Trojan horse. Let's convince them we can deliver all these A3s, and one day we won't need them, and they're going to give us all this data. But, you know, what are you hearing? I mean, I'm hearing the emotional side of it, but what are you hearing on the legal side of this?
Well, the legal business side is a real threat. HP is a threat to the dealer channel right now. They're asking for all the confidential information regarding that customer end user. And they want dealers to supply that information in order to receive an additional discount on the product. But Ray, let's be realistic. I'm a consumer of business equipment and systems just like anyone else. In our law firm 20 years ago, our office manager put an HP in every one of our offices. Why would she do that? Because it was safe. She had nothing to worry about. You buy HP, you can't get criticized. Well, Ray, when I'm in my office today, I can't tell you the name on my printer behind me. I don't know who manufactures it or who's responsible for it because I'm not buying a manufacturer. I'm buying the dealer. Amen. And the dealer's name on that equipment is what's critical. If that printer behind me in my office goes out, they've got 2 hours to fix it or replace it. And we have a small closet or room in the firm somewhere where there's probably 4, 6 spares, and someone pulls one out, plugs and plays, and I'm back in business. Now that's what I care about, being able to print documents. I don't care if it says HP, says XYZ, or anyone else. So What the customer is buying is that dealer and the dealer's support. So what I think is critical here, if you want to give away your business, give it to HP. Give them the customer name, the key contact, the sales information, everything you want, and you'll be giving away your business. But in 40 years, going back to Elko and a host of others, dealers have been selling their businesses based on the installed base that exists. And that installed base is what you have developed as a dealer. You go out and find these people, you qualify these people, you give them the proper solution, and most importantly, you support them and make sure they're getting the very best outcome from what you recommend. Now, if you start turning that over to a third party, you've got serious issues. You're diminishing the value of your business. So, Ray, I've been telling dealers, I've been giving them 3 options, okay? Option number 1 says, dealer, if you're going to give this information to the HP or anyone else, then you need a confidentiality agreement. And that non-disclosure confidentiality agreement says, listen, Mr. Supplier, listen, HP, I'll give you this information, but you must agree 3 things. You won't use it for sales, you won't use it for marketing, and you won't use it for research, because that's one of the things that's coming back. The second thing I suggest to dealers consider, that in their maintenance and support agreements, they put in a provision with their customer that says, I will not share your confidential information with any third parties, especially for sales, marketing, or research purposes. We see that all the time. We're always concerned about Amazon going to a third-party list or taking our information. It's not unusual for your end user customers to request such information. And the third thing I say is look for another partner. If you've got a partner who's not being a partner, who's being a predator, trying to seek your confidential information, the very crux and value of your business, go find someone else. I've known for years people going to other A4 products that are available, and there's plenty of great ones out there, so look at that. But don't get hoodwinked into giving away your business to a major supplier who may not be taking that information and using it in your best interest.
That's what I'm thinking. If they all pool together, I mean, we got some big partners out there. I mean, there's some big dealers. And if they're representing 500, 600, 700, $1 billion worth of distribution, if HP really wants to take our channel serious, they should really listen to what the dealers are saying. So, I appreciate those. I'm going to go with option number 3 and tell everybody to just call my friends at Lexmark, but that's because I like Lexmark. But Bob,
that's fine, Ray. Any option is a good option.
But did you hear anything about, because I've also heard that they're going to the places where the dealers buy the equipment from HP. So in other words, if they're signed up with a distributor, we just saw the big Tech Data Synex merger, but let's say you're buying, your products from either Synex or Supplies Network or any other distributor. Are they giving the data that you're buying, like OEM toner or non-OEM toner? Have you heard anything like that?
You mean from the distributors? Are they? Go ahead.
Supposedly the distributors are giving that information to HP as well, telling HP what the dealers are buying from them, to the point of even the type of supplies.
Well, and in that instance, you have to protect it as well. If they're going to share that information from the distributor level, it can only be done in the aggregate, that it's not identifiable. So if one of the distributors comes out and says that our dealer channel's buying 50% of this, 30% of this, 20% of that, that's fine if they tell that in the aggregate, but don't say that Bob's Office Machine Dealership in Chicago is buying 10, 30, 20% of whatever. That's confidential information. That's taking valuable information regarding my customers and giving it to a potential competitor.
Yeah, big time. Yep. And we know HP, they're always sending emails to everybody, so it won't be long before they're trying to get into our business space as well. Bob, it's always great talking with you. It was great to get to know you a lot better in Orlando, and I appreciate you having on the end of the day with Ray. Is there anything you want to say as we end this?
I just want to say I want to thank the Business Technology Association for allowing me to help dealers and folks like you, Ray, who help get the message out to the channel to make sure that our dealers are successful and continue to grow in our industry. Thanks, Ray. Have a wonderful day.
Well, Bob, I'm like you. I'm only in this for the dealers. I can make some OEMs pretty mad sometimes, but I really don't care because I'm all about the dealer. Because we all know this, status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.